Hello everyone, welcome to the IAS Mentor Ancient History series. We are in Mahajanapada period. In this video, we are going to understand what is the social life of Mahajanapada period. Almost we are coming to the closure of Mahajanapadas. This society is going to be continuation of the later Vedic period. Let us see what are the elements of society when it comes to Mahajanapada period. Identify this. Already you have seen so far various economic activities that emerged during Mahajanapada period. You know political life of Mahajanapada period also. The system or the society is becoming more and more complex by this time period. We are not even touched Jesus' life. Jesus means what? 600 years after this it is going to emerge. Christianity is going to emerge after 600 years from this period. European culture is going to take reference from the Jesus. That shows how important the rise of Christianity in European culture. We are 600 years earlier, the rise of Christianity. By this time period, you can see how complex Indian society has become. Political system evolved, economic system also deepened. Many religious ideas are also emerging by this time period. In that context, let us see what are the social dynamics of this time period. This is the age of second urbanization. What is the first urbanization in Indian history? Indus Valley Civilization. Second urbanization, Mahajanapada period. Cities emerged. Why cities emerged? So many artisan activities emerged. Some cities became centers of manufacturing zone. Some cities became capitals of Mahajanapadas. Some cities became religious centers of various religious ideas. Rural areas are there. Forest areas are also there. Society means what is going to be the life of these people. In addition to that, foreigner elements are also coming. Foreigner mean Parisians, Greeks. We have seen like invasions of Parisians, invasions of Greeks also. Now this is the context Mahajanapada society is going to play. Traditionally, Brahmanical society, in what way it classified? Traditionally, the social hierarchy. Brahmanical texts refer to four varnas. Four varnas classified like this: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Now these two were called privileged, and they have to pay the taxes. And also with respect to judiciary, laws, less punishment, lighter punishment to them, and here very harsh punishment in case of criminal activity. Same crime done by Brahmana, lighter punishment. Same crime done by Shudra, more severe punishment. Judiciary, that's why privileged, and these are disabled, or disabilities were imposed on them. As per Brahmanical texts, this is the description of the society. But it doesn't mean everyone exactly following like this. Why? What is the nature of Indian society? Indian society is like this. Indian society is so big. Here there is one kingdom, another kingdom, another kingdom, another kingdom, another kingdom. The ruler, whoever is influenced by the Brahmanical tradition, may want to establish his society in this manner. What about those kings who are not believing in this exactly? Or sometimes ruler may be very liberal also. No doubt in their kingdom also this kind of categorization might be there. But the rulers might not have given that kind of very strong, restricted or very strict imposition of this. They might be very liberal. Whenever there is a liberal attitude, then mobility will be there, not exactly very strict, clear-cut compartmentalization will not be there. One of the reasons for rise of Magadha, that mobility, liberal attitude, liberal social values, new ideas are also emerged, Buddhism, Jainism and other ideas also emerged. That's why always try to see Mahajanapada society means, even though we write one of the components, one of the characteristics of Mahajanapada is 4 Varnas, it not necessary, need not to be necessary that in every part of India these 4 Varnas implemented. No doubt the existing Sanskrit text are going to highlight this social aspect. Next, one element. When it comes to social hierarchy, like this. In Sanskrit text, it is referred like this. Next social element. What about family? Family system is joint family system that is going on since later Vedic, early Vedic onwards, later Vedic and so on. It is coming even till now also. Joint family is one of the typical characteristic of India. What about the head of the family? Patriarchal. Patriarchal. Male member of the family is going to lead the family. That is going on even today also. Next, what about women? What about women's status? When it comes to women's status, now gradually that is getting deteriorated, or more and more restrictions. That restrictions already started in later Vedic, that later Vedic restriction going on now also, like sati practice, child marriage, no widow remarriage, restrictions on property rights, have to depend on male members, depend on male counterparts. That kind of system is going on. That will go on till independence time period. Even after independence also going on. That's why Indian Constitution wanted to eliminate this. Today, due to education, due to human rights concept, due to awareness among both male and female, that's why, because of that, these ideas became outdated. We are now wanting equality. Women's status like this, that is continuing. But again, it doesn't mean everyone will be like this. When it comes to Shudra, lower class, lower caste women, this kind of restrictions will not be there. Generally, wherever religion dominates, wherever Brahmanical religion dominates, their restrictions are going to be more on women, because women were considered as the ideal people. They are going to be seen as the people who are going to protect the honor of the family. Very protective in nature. Male members are going to consider women very protective, and because they are seen as the people who are going to protect the honor of their family. That is where the patriarchal mindset leading to this. But again, it is not necessary that 100% of India. Here 100% of India means every part of India. Do you think every part of India is like this? No. When it comes to forest areas, it is different. When it comes to lower Varnas, the status is going to be different. So that is where conservative attitude is like this. So conservative attitude, liberal attitude is not going to stick to these ideals. But overall, whatever sources we are reading, Brahmanical text or Sanskrit text, they are going to highlight this kind of social characteristics. Fourth one. What about slavery? Was there slavery in early Vedic time period? Yes, Dasa and Dashyus. In later Vedic time period also, Dasas and Dashyus were there. Particularly Dasa concept is going to become very common. Whenever Brahmanas perform rituals, sacrifices, they used to get money also, they used to get land also, they used to get slaves also as part of Dakshina. that a slave could be women or Shudras, generally considered. Women. But again, it is not that only Shudras are going to become slaves. Even in case of certain Sanskrit texts, you will see even Rajas, Kshatriyas also going to become slaves whenever they got indebted. That means if there is any kind of debt, to clear their debt, they used to become slaves and they work for the master. They clear the debt and they become free. Slavery is there. Next, what about untouchability? Untouchability. Identify this one. Brahmanical texts differentiated rural population into 4 varnas. What about those people who are interacting with the forests? What kind of varna you will apply to the forest people? And the people where they are there in the middle, in the outer zone of the village and beginning of the forest. That means the border areas between villages and forest areas. The people who are working in leather or those who are working with scavenging and dead bodies, gradually they came to be known as Chandalas. So this is the term Sanskrit texts refer. Chandalas. That's why in the present times, if you change the profession, automatically this concept will go. But when it comes to those time periods, by birth, because of the existing norms, orthodox mindset was more stronger at that time. By birth, these professions were attributed to these varnas. That's why they could not come out of it very easily. That prevailed for so many centuries. Now we are in 600 BC. Till recent times also, even today also, if you go to deep pockets of India, you will identify untouchability practice, where education is very poor, health indicators are very poor, awareness is very poor. That is how the Indian tradition entered into this time period. It continued for so many centuries. This is one of the blot on Indian society, but today we are not. Today, Constitution do not recognize it. If anyone follows this practice, it is a sinful activity. That is illegal, and Constitution itself abolished untouchability with Article number 17. Article 17 abolished untouchability. But that practice entered in later Vedic time period. Now it is going to become stronger at this point of time. So what is this? Rural areas, 4 varnas are going to become stronger, and wherever forests are there, the border areas you will identify untouchables also. And what about the forest people? Who is Kshatriya, who is Brahmana, who is Vaishya, and who is Shudra? And whenever forest people interact with the mainstream, what kind of varna you are going to give? What about foreigners who are going to enter into this? What is the status you will give? That's where, even though it appears in theoretical model very rigid, this kind of system prevalent, but it is not 100% rigid. It is allowing the foreigners also to become part of this varna. Forest people also interacting with the mainstream people, allowing the mobility. That's why so many jatis are going to emerge in that interaction. So many jatis are going to enter into this interaction. Now, what is going to happen? For that, you have to analyze what about the marriage system here. When it comes to marriage, upper varna and lower varna, gotra, these are the systems emerged by this time period. Anuloma, pratiloma, this kind of systems also entered. Now, upper varna, lower varna. What if upper varna marries lower varna and this happens? What is going to be the varna of the next generation? That is where jati system is going to emerge. How this jati system will emerge? Now, this interaction is going to be even more stronger in the later period. Suppose consider there are 4 varnas. in a village, typical village, a typical village, consider all people are like this: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Let us consider no one is outside. In a village, ideally, all people were fit in this framework. Suppose when they interact with the tribes, if a Brahmana interact with the tribes, what is going to be the next generation? Possibility is there. If Brahmanas are given some land into the tribal area or forest area, now when they come into contact with the tribes, one day that interaction is going to take place. Suppose if any kind of marriage takes place, what is going to be the next generation? If it is male, female, again, if Brahmana is male, tribe is female, going to be Brahmana. Again, who decide this one? Based on male member. That shows the idea of patriarchy. What if here male? What if female? Possibility is there. Now, what is going to be here? Lower Brahmana or Chandalas. This is how the concept of Chandalas are going to emerge. Again, showing the patriarchal mindset. Now, let us consider this way only. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. If Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmana. Kshatriya, Kshatriya. Let us consider in this way. What about this one? Possibility is there. What about this one? What about this one? Let it be one example, two examples, but this kind of interaction also possible when you are in human society. Now, what is going to be the next generation? Same is the case with this also. Same is the case with this also. Now, how many permutations and combinations are going to come? That is where, even though it appears theoretical model very rigid, but practically it is not possible. That's where in India, so many jatis emerged. It itself is an indication of mobility. Mobility. So theoretically it shows very rigid, but practically that is not the case. What about if the foreigner, a Greek person interacted with this society, a Greek person not following this, don't know what is this, and now when they interact with this one, it is going to be another one. That is how in Sanskrit different terminologies are going to emerge for a different type of interaction. That itself is an indication of the mobility within the society. But more or less, when it comes to Sanskrit texts, they always highlight this only. They always expect a good ruler means who maintain Varna, Ashrama Dharma. Varna system, Ashrama system is going to be the next one. So this is where marriage, and when it comes to the marriage interaction, these many jatis are going to emerge. That became the social characteristic of Indian society till now. Next, seventh one, education. Seventh one, education. What about education? Education, there is a concept of Dvija. That means sacred thread ceremony. That means beginning of education. Beginning of education. But this ceremony is allowed only for Brahmana, Kshatriya and Vaishya. And this section is not allowed. And again, here also women are not allowed. That means women and Shudra are out of this education system. That's what Brahmanical texts. But there will be so many examples will be there where women also got educated and Shudras also got some idea about education. But whatever source we are having to interpret this particular time period society, Brahmanical text, Sanskrit text, based on that, this is the explanation. So Dvija, sacred ceremony, beginning of education. These three varnas were called Dvija. What is Dvija? Twice born. Twice born. Third, fourth one, not twice born, single born. That's why education is considered as if something, a new life is going to start. This is how. And what is going to be the curriculum of it? Vedas and Vedic associated in case of Brahmanical texts. And when it comes to Buddhism, Jainism, and those texts will be there. That's what. In Brahmanical text it is. When it comes to Buddhism and Jainism, some kind of liberal attitude is shown in Buddhism and Jainism. Buddhist monks, women also became Buddhist monks and they used to study Buddhist scriptures. Shudras and Vaishyas also became Buddhist monks and they used to study like Buddhist monk. When they become Buddhist monk, everyone is Buddha. Everyone is equal in the Buddhist Sangha. That is how theoretically Sanskrit texts refer this kind of system, but practically something else is also going to happen. According to Sanskrit text, there is one more system. This education should be followed in as per ashrama system. Ashrama system means what? Every life contains 4 stages of life: brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasin. A child, education, time period, brahmacharya, family, marriage. Then after fulfilling all the family duties, living in forest areas, so that at the end of the life, they live in peaceful, isolated way, so that they get purification. To serve the society, sannyasin model. So 4 stages of life combined is known as varna ashrama dharma. This kind of tradition is also gaining ground, gaining lot of ground by this time period. In later Vedic time period itself, it started. In later Vedic time period itself, it started. And this is how, when sacrifices, rituals were going on more and more in the society, Upanishads started questioning. Upanishads emerged out of this tradition. Like sannyasin means these are the enlightened people. And they used to question the importance of religion, rituals and sacrifices. This phase made people enlightened about the life, universe, and they started giving new knowledge, Upanishadic thought. Buddha also like this. Later he lived the life and he becomes sannyasin. He got enlightened and he established Buddhism. Vardhaman Mahavira also got enlightened, established, strengthened Jainism. He is not the founder of Jainism, strengthened that tradition. Buddha and Mahavira were also part of this tradition. After the enlightenment, when they give new path to the people, that became itself a separate religion. But that ashrama system was prevalent in the society. Clear? So far, these are the various elements. Social hierarchy is like this. Next one, family, patriarchal, women status is like this. Slavery is also there, untouchability also, marriage system also like this. And this combination, permutation combination, education system is like this, ashrama system is also there. Now, when it comes to rural areas, Varna system is strong. Varna system is strong. And urban areas also, many artisans, they themselves become like different jatis, artisans, different. When it comes to Vaishyas, Vaishyas were agriculture people also, artisans also, and traders also. Initially, this is not that only restricted to trading activities. In Mahajanapada time period, Vaishyas referred to this Brahmana, Kshatriya, ruling and education, whereas Vaishyas means producing class. tax paying class. Shudras means labor class. Artisans, different jatis based on profession, they became different groups, different professions. And in fact, some artisan villages also emerged. Pottery makers, one village. Carpenters, one village. Like that, different villages also based on their profession also emerged. These. Now, when it comes to rural areas, rich peasants were called Gahapatis. When it comes to urban areas, when it comes to rich traders or rich merchants, Sethis. And these artisans, all pottery makers, all one profession, they used to form one group also called guild. Guild is like a group of artisans. The people who are following a single profession, they used to form one group that is called guild. In the modern sense, it is like a corporation. Pottery maker guild. Carpenter guild. Textile guild. Oil pressers, one guild. And these guilds used to take care of their group members, and they used to preserve their talent, and they used to pass on to the next generations. This is how the society was there in rural and urban. And what about the tribal? Tribal is like early Vedic time period. When it comes to tribal, it is equal to early Vedic period. Liberal society. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, that is there in mainstream here. And what about this warriors, priestly class, and common people like early Vedic? Sabha Samiti, tribal chief will be there, more liberal. All people used to participate in politics. All people used to participate in festivals. Women also liberal attitude. The social evils like sati, child marriage, and widow, not encouraging widow remarriage, those systems will not be there. Liberal attitude towards women. Whatever knowledge they were having, they used to give it to everyone. That's very tribal. When these people interact, when they become mainstream, now gradually they are going to become one of the jatis. That is how the interaction was a continuous process that is going on till now. Population of rural areas, urban areas, tribal population, foreigners are also now getting intermixed. When it comes to language, Sanskrit language, people were speaking Sanskrit language, Pali language, Prakrit language also. And when it comes to northwestern part, what kind of system? Let me draw fastly. Already we have seen in the influence of Persian, Aramaic, Kharosti. Why? Because of Brahmi script and Kharosti script is the combination of Kharosti plus Brahmi. Greek language and Greek script. Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit. What about those people who are not following Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit and all these? Simply you can give tribal languages. So that is what diversity is there. But when it comes to the story, what happened to these tribal people, what kind of life they were enjoying, what kind of life they were living, we don't know the evidence in the form of literature. Whatever today we are studying, it's either through these or through these. That's where we don't have how the people of Shudras, how Chandalas were living, how tribals were living, because the story below, that's where story from below not there. That's why a new kind of historians also emerge called subaltern historians. Their focus is, this is like a elite version, and whatever we are knowing about tribals also, that is because of this only. whatever is written by the elite. But the story from below, like what tribals are feeling, when this kind of system is prevalent in mainstream, how they were feeling, we don't know. The present historians, a separate class of historians also emerged called subaltern historians. Their main focus is on this. They used to depend on the folklore. Like even today also, whatever their oral traditions, what they remember. Like when it comes to Vedic people, how Rig Veda survived, oral tradition only. How other Vedas survived, oral tradition only. Later these oral traditions written and documented and became 4 Vedas. In the similar manner, these tribal ideas are also now they are in the form of oral traditions. The present generation of the so-called subaltern historians used to focus on these oral traditions, archaeological evidences, and also references made in these texts, references made in the foreign text. They used to club and try to portray, try to give the history from their perspective also. But that is a long time. In future generations, they may have some better idea about these people. But in our lifetime, as of now, we have to depend on these sources only. That is the social elements that were prevalent in Mahajanapadas time period, as it is explained in this texts or literary sources. All right. So this is how language. And rich and poor also there. When it comes to rich and poor, some people used to wear gold jewelry, NBPW. This is like a very rich, and common people like a pottery, black and red wear without gold ornaments, jewelry. That kind of class also, different classes are also prevalent, and so on. So this is how so many elements came. In this way, you have to analyze for every chapter like this. And it is not something new we have created. Already in Vedic time period, we have already created. You see this in Vedic time period also, social hierarchy was there. Same family, same women status, and slavery, untouchability, marriage. This is very clear in this point of time because more and more evidences in comparison with the previous time period is there. That is where we could analyze in this manner. Education, varnashrama system, and rural tribal, and language also. Now more and more languages are going to emerge. Now today, if we talk about language of present day times, so many languages because of this interaction only. Rich and poor classes. This is how the society of Mahajanapada period. Gradual interaction is taking place on northern Uttarapada and Dakshinapada. The Gangetic Valley ideas are going to come. The Gangetic Valley ideas are going to spread to this side, and everywhere. That is how social interaction is going to spread across India. That's why Vedas, early Rig Veda emerged from here. After some time, it is going to be seen in this location also. And these ideas are also going to stay in Gangetic Valley. This is how the interaction is to take place across India. By Mahajanapada time period itself, north and south are now connected by transportation lines also. Different kingdoms are also now promoting almost similar kind of ideas. The major empire, once all these regions are going to come under single empire, this interaction is going to be very fluid and very fast. That is going to happen in Mauryan time period. All right. This is what the social life of Mahajanapada time period. So with this, most of the elements already done. Remaining thing, religious life, art and culture, science and technology, we are going to analyze in the coming videos. All right. Watch everything, very important. Now I will show you 2 questions based on this. Of all, so far whatever we have discussed, you are going to see. Let me show you the questions. Try to answer these questions. You put the answer in the comment section. Who were the Grihapatis in the context of ancient Indian Mahajanapada? Soldiers, rich peasants, artists, priests. You know the answer? Answer it. Next, what is the correct chronological order in which the following appeared in India? Now you see, this is going to connect right from Indus Valley Civilization till Mahajanapada time period. That is why Single question. This is UPSC question only. Already asked this question. This is how UPSC is to ask. Single question but connects multiple chapters. This is the best question which connects one sentence from Indus Valley, one line from Vedic, one line from Mahajanapadas, and so on. You just see gold coins, punch marked silver coins, iron plow, urban culture. Which is first? Arrange in the chronological order. See the question, answer it. Very, very important question. If you answer this question very correctly, then you understood ancient history so far. If you understand ancient history so far, then the core element of ancient history you understood. That's why follow very, very carefully up to Mahajanapadas. All the best. Let's meet in the next. Let's meet in the next video with the next element, religious life of Mahajanapadas. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.